Around 8:45 in the morning, I had the fried dough, about half of it or so, that Dad and I got at Salvatore's yesterday. I had the remaining two gluten-free cupcakes Mom had made several days ago. They were pretty enjoyable. And I didn't really notice them being stale. I had that with my first cup of plain coffee. I recall having coffee throughout the whole day, including a plastic glass full of cold brew after getting back from being at Perri's Pizzeria, their pub location franchise. With Dad and his friend Bill. We were at Perri's Pizzeria, the pub location, roughly from 1:15 p.m. to about 3 p.m., during which time we had pizza and wings. On our pizza, Dad and I got cup char pepperoni and bacon. These were made by Dad's mom. I believe they were given to my dad when just he visited some days ago. They're pretty good. As for our chicken wings, for the order of 10 me and my dad shared, actually I think it was an order of 12. I recall having 6 and Dad having the same. We opted for all of our chicken wings to have the City Sweet hot sauce. It was pretty enjoyable. Before the pizza and wings came, I think before we ordered them, I opted for an IPA. $60. It was pretty good. While having that IPA and the pizza and wings, I noticed some kind of paper advertisement. The kind where the paper is and the advertisements are folded to make a sort of 3D triangle of sorts. Or cone with that makes a square at the bottom. And a kind of point at the top that isn't an absolute point. On one side, one of the faces of the triangle, I noticed that Perri's Pizzeria, the pub location, was offering some Gatorade cocktails, of which, for my second and last alcoholic beverage, I opted for the red zone. The whole time the three of us, me, Dad, and his friend Bill, sat together at the bar. Kind of in the middle of it, it was a pretty long bar. I recall we were kind of in the middle of it, but leaning towards the left of it. The left end. Well, we had a pretty good time. The pizza was pretty thick, which I found myself liking. And the radio played at least one song that I liked enough that I identified it using Google Assistant. And I have since listened to it at Dad's place through my laptop. I recall the song being You Were Right by Rufus. After dropping Bill back off at his place, Dad briefly took me to my mom's place to visit and briefly help my mom with something. I found the wallet I had left at Mom's place within my room, and that wallet is now at my dad's place. I recall it was somewhere between 4 and 4:30 p.m. by the time Dan and I got back to his place. And right before we went to Perri's Pizzeria, me, Dad, his friend Bill, we all went to Dad's new barber to get haircuts. In my case, I opted for my usual 2 buzz cut. She did a pretty good job of it. The barber. And after our haircuts, she offered us full-size Twix candy bars. And we also took some candy bars that were provided for, that were left out for customers after our haircuts. That was pretty nice of her. I took a couple small 100-gram candy bars. And I recall Dad taking a few small almond joys. And we each took one full-size Twix candy bar. And I had one of the 100-gram small candy bars right away. And it was enjoyable. I recall trying to sleep during the late morning period. Roughly from 9:30 in the morning to about 11 in the morning. Though I didn't fall asleep, because I recall sleeping roughly from 2:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the morning today. And I recall falling asleep at 5 p.m. around that time. I'm currently grinding the campaign mission my mouse pointer is on in order to grind for the last ingredient I need or item to be able to craft this DIY automatic rifle. Here's where I am currently on One Among Zombies. I recall upgrading the sofa at one point, starting the upgrade at least, at some point during either the late morning or the afternoon. And I think I'm pretty close to being able to upgrade it again. I recall during the late morning afternoon period, briefly working on this polystyrene drawing project in order to sort the two yellow Sharpie marker colors from lightest to darkest. There's default yellow, and then the lighter one, I think it may technically be called dandelion yellow or something like that. As for the Moogle polystyrene drawing project, I'm not sure whether to resume working on the 50 crate on the back of the polystyrene block, or draw either some kind of tree or a chocobo. But I'll make my decision sooner or later on what to do next.